Body roll. Kids Incorporated.
Your body roll though for a kid song just seems just weird. Like I don't know, something just seems off about it.
Listen, with what them babies is doing today, my body roll is quite appropriate for the
About
time.
that. Matter of fact, did you see the Grammys?
I did not. You know how I am
Yeah.
about like the Grammys to me is music people's reality TV, okay?
Oh wow,
And
no.
I but in a good way, y'all like it. I am a theater and film person, so what does Danita watch? The Oscars, the Golden Globes, and the Tonys.
Yeah, but
That is
there's
my
theater and all of that same thing in the Grammys. So like I don't know why
there's
you won't.
theater in everything. Okay?
No. Even this.
Yes, there's theater in everything. So you can't be like, oh, there's theater. No, there's theater in everything, you guys. Like everything you do. There's theater in medicine. What? Because you got to keep a straight face when you about to tell somebody that they have some sort of weirdo diagnosis. There's
Wait, why do
acting
I
there,
have
my
to?
friend.
Are you
You got to
saying that
act.
we're acting?
Absolutely.
Nah, I don't think we're acting.
Lies.
I don't think we're acting. I think we're genuinely concerned when we're going to
No,
tell them
I'm
something
saying
about some disease.
you can't tell me that there have not been times that you have not walked into a patient's room or one of your exam rooms and you were about to like either devastate them or at least mildly inconvenience the rest of their week and you've had to hold your face. That's acting.
But hold my face from what? From
I
laughing?
don't know.
From
No. From any type of emotion. Like okay, let's worst case scenario, you've had to go and say, "Hey, this is what's going on," or "I think this has been lost," or "I think this can't happen for you." Because you're
mm,
OBGYN. You've had to hold your face because you are not an emotionless person. Let's get that together first. You are a person who feels things. Your sister maybe not so much. Like sometimes I will disconnect from a situation real quick and go worship manager mode, stage management mode. But you are a very emotion filled. I won't say emotional because emotional carries like a different connotation, but you are an emotion filled person.
no, I think that there's two Ginas. Not saying that there's some sort of dissociative personality disorder anyway, but there are two Ginas, and there's one that's professional and there's one that's personal. And yeah, the one that's personal tends to be more full of emotion on a regular basis in the company of people that I feel safe with. Then there are
Ooh.
the
Let me tell you, can we pause right there for the fantastic of the way you just described that? Yes.
yeah, but it's true. It's true. Of course, now everybody who has ever been around me is just like, I've never seen her cry. They're gonna be like, is she safe with me? Okay,
Listen,
so
you just realized that you're no longer Gina's best friend, is what she just told you on
no,
the
I
live,
didn't mean that.
YouTube here.
I didn't mean that. It's just
No,
it's
we
just
know
a handful of it's a handful of people that see that Gina. And
yes.
then there is Dr. Gina, very professional, that will contain all emotions, will delay
Hmm.
emotions if I'm having to deal with a situation where the diagnosis is really tough or, I recognize how this is going to change the person's life. I might not react for 3, 4 days down the road. But I mean, think about it though. If your doctor is giving you a devastating diagnosis, do you want them to lay on the bed or on the couch and cry with you? Like, how ridiculous is that? Like,
You're
how would
not.
that be
I don't
comforting?
know. Here's the thing. Some people may like that. Some people just like they're ooh, if they had like a doula for diagnoses. That's an
Mm.
idea. Look at
Even
that idea out
doulas.
on it.
Okay, we need some doulas on here next show. We're gonna get some doulas on this show. Even
They need
doulas
They need a
will tell
doula for
you
diagnosis.
no.
Listen, because doulas walk in there and they be like rubbing on people and telling them everything's gonna be okay and just everything's gonna be copacetic and just breathe and the baby like that. Like people like doulas.
They're
They a
still
lot
there.
of times people lean on them to be more emotionally involved in the birthing process situation, right? At least
That's
that's
true.
what they show on television.
That's true.
That's what they show me on television. Whereas but you have a person like me that's just like, I don't want that. Like I want business to come in, tell me everything that's going on, give me my chances, give me my numbers. Like that's the only way I know how to function. Like you come in and say, hey, Danita, it's going to take you exactly 6 pushes to get the baby out. That's why C-sections worked for me
Okay.
in the emergency situation, because you can't tell me exactly how many pushes it's going to take to get the baby out. Like I would not have functioned well in that environment. I'm not good. I'm not good at like, we don't really know how long this is going to take
But
or
it's
what this
true.
is.
It is true. They can't, most docs, most midwives, whomever, there for the birth cannot say it's going to take you exactly 6 pushes. It may, they could give you a number and then you're going to need to know the over under. Like it's 6 pushes and then it could be 4. Just like we don't know what the exact due date is. Let me tell you something though. If I could figure that out, do you know how rich I would be if I came up with a prediction app where you just kind of did some sort of biometric something and it's just like, your baby will be born on Tuesday, April 15th at 2:36 p.m. 36 seconds after 2 hours and 23 minutes of labor. Do you know how rich I would be? Girl,
Listen, we
I need
would
to figure that
retire
out. Wait,
together in Bora Bora. Like seriously,
girl,
develop that app, make it happen. Because you know
I
what's
can't make
funny?
that happen. That's Jesus.
Listen, let me tell you something. This is coming from the control freak, okay?
I
Self-proclaimed,
know.
probably diagnosed. You could probably make an app like that. That would be completely wrong, and it would still give people like me some sort of peace. Like, oh, my baby's like, isn't that like lie to me? Lie to me
Wait,
with
wait,
the
wait. But
exact
you know what's so funny?
prediction.
You are in theater.
Yes.
And yet you are only wanting to accept objective data.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like to me, theater people, creatives are like touchy feely, and they're just like, how does this feel today? And what is my vision? And what is my motivation? And here you go, wanting me to give you scientific data. Like this is not,
I need scientific listen. First of
no.
all, you've described a lot of my theatrical friends just now.
Yes, I've met
Those
them.
are a lot of my friends. I
I've
don't
met
know
them.
what the disconnect is for me. Like because I'm artsy, and then there's
Yeah,
like a wall that I hit where I'm just like, okay, but like I need you to give me like case in point,
concrete.
case in point,
Mm,
if we're being transparent here on our on
mhm.
our scrubs and stage lights, we're incorporating maybe a little bit more scrubs in this going forward. Your niece, my oldest daughter,
Yes.
got diagnosed with a very, oh, how would we put it, a very significant diagnosis. I think I'm just going to say it because I think, I want to say it more so because I think people should learn more about it, because I didn't know anything about it until it existed.
I
Um,
think you should say it because it will be more real to you.
ooh, I don't need your therapy right now. This thing right
I'm
now.
just
Okay, here
saying.
we go. So, my oldest daughter had just got diagnosed with hereditary angioedema type
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Um, and with that diagnosis, um, it's a clinical diagnosis that is done after very extensive research and data has been compiled, but not necessarily laboratory proven. Am I doing this right?
Kinda. I'm gonna let you
Kinda.
continue.
You're right. So whereas type 1 and type 2 have very specific numbers in the lab when they draw a person's blood, they can look at the numbers and say, "Oh, this is exactly this." The
Type
kind
one
that
for
she
sure.
has, type 1 for
Type one
sure,
for sure.
type 2 maybe, but more times
Maybe.
yes than no. Type
Right.
3, the numbers are actually very normal and they have to base the diagnosis off of her reactions to different medications and
Her
her very
presentation.
real symptoms.
Right.
So the doctor over here can tell you that when the numbers came back normal, I was just like, she doesn't have it. We got to find something else, because the number said that she didn't have it. And so we went on a journey. We went on a journey, y'all, where I was just like, no, she doesn't have this. We got to find something else. And I was finding some very Dr. House type diseases.
First of all, let me say this. Hereditary angioedema itself is already rare.
It is
Okay?
a very rare
Most
disorder.
people
Yeah.
who are even listening to this, they're just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I just know that hereditary means that it can kind of run through the family, and that's about it. And
Right.
basically, people just have kind of like these flare ups or attacks of swelling
Yep.
in the different tissue anywhere in their body. It could be
Correct.
on their face, their throat, it could be inside, so they could have stomach pain, but it's really rare. And a lot
Mhm.
of times it's not diagnosed because people will say, oh, it's just her allergy to,
Right. Which is what we
or,
did for years. Yeah.
oh, she's just anxious, or she just ate something
You got
bad,
to go to the
or
bathroom because
you
your
gotta go
belly
to the
hurts.
bath.
You
Yeah,
have to
yes,
go use the restroom.
right. But that being said, I think it was last year. Your doc already tried to kind of get you to buy into this
Yes,
diagnosis.
he did.
And
Yes,
then
her doctor, this incredible guy, incredible doctor who actually has like mad crazy certification in this. Like he does
he's an
webinars and stuff.
immunologist.
He's an immunologist, and he began to say, you know what, this isn't like, because she has an allergies to spinach and beets and shellfish,
Got asthma.
and right, right. She got asthma. And
Corporation.
so we have these crazy hospital visits. And there was one point where he was just like, guys, I don't think it's the allergies. Like, I don't think this is what that is. I
Mhm.
think this is something you should consider. Well, here's the thing, techies, because that's what we named y'all, I think. Here's the thing.
Did
When
we?
you look
We
up
gave
the
a name?
disorder, we did. We named them techies. I forgot whose idea it was. I want to say it was Moiro's idea.
Okay.
Moiro Conchella, our favorite songstress.
My favorite singer ever. Can we
Forget
get her
about
on the
the
show?
what? Yes, we're gonna get her on the show. But
Yeah.
but we she said because techs exist in stage and in medicine, we should call our fans techies.
Okay.
I
But
like it.
anyway,
But
I do
anyway,
too.
so
But I stopped
so
you.
techies, when you look up the disorder, it's overwhelming. Like
It is.
right out of the gate. It is overwhelming. And so I was just like, she didn't have it. She didn't have this. Like none of the symptoms, like she doesn't have this. And so I would try to explain away the obvious symptoms that occurred with this, even though her doc is telling me, her incredible auntie over here who is a doc was telling me, no, I think you should listen to to the
Yeah.
immunologist. And so at that point, I'd gotten to the point as a mom, as like the doctor mom we did, the doctor parent episode we did
Mhm.
last season.
Mhm.
But at that point, I got to the point where I was just like, the blood test will let us know. Like they said, there's a blood test that can tell you what the levels are. Once that blood test comes back, we're either no or we won't.
Well, let me say this, because a lot of people may not understand why you were so resistant to just accepting what it was. It's
Because I was.
considered chronic. There's no treatment. There's
Yes.
medication after you get past a certain age that can help um, prevent some of the attacks or make them not quite as long. But it's a chronic thing. It's almost, and it's debilitating to some degree and life
It is.
threatening if they
It
have
is. It can
swelling in
be.
the
Yes.
throat, and she has swelling in her throat and her tongue and has to go to the ER often. So yeah, who wants their kid or niece or cousin or anybody to have it? So
No,
I get why
it
you
is
were
it
trying
is
to.
jarring.
It is
It is jarring.
jarring. It is
Yeah. And
jarring.
so I was very kind of, I was trying to distance us from it as much as possible. And the more I was getting pushed towards it, the more I was just like, the blood
No.
test is going to let us know and it's going to shut everybody up. Like this
First of
joint's going
all,
to come back normal and everybody's going to have to come with me with different facts.
first of
Either it's going to
all,
be normal or it isn't.
that's a lie.
I
Because you were
know.
not
I
even. No, that was not. That's a lie. Because you were not like, oh, let's wait for the blood test. No, you were looking up this randomness. At one point, my poor little niece had a psychiatric disorder where she was making up the whole thing was completely, just something in her mind. that she triggered and would cause her whole body and go into this like reaction that almost killed herself. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all kind. And then the last thing that you sent me, it was a rare disease, and you were just like, "Hey, what are your
What
thoughts
do you
on
think about
this?"
that? I
She
did
didn't have
say that.
any of the symptoms, none of the characteristics,
Listen, can we agree
none.
that Google is dangerous to a person with no medical degree? That I just like flat
Google
out.
is,
Like if you don't have a medical
oh,
degree, don't Google diseases, y'all. Don't do it because that's what the problem was. I had my phone. There was one time where I could prove it with a text where Gina was just like, "Put your phone down. Put your phone down," because
but this,
it got real for me. Like I was
yeah,
just like, let me find something that can be cured.
yes,
That is where I was. Let me
that's
find
where
something
you
to be
were.
cured because she's 11 and this is a lot to put on an 11-year-old
Yes,
to be like, this is what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. And then
yes,
I try
life.
to explain, and the thing about it is sometimes with diagnosis that you guys like give, even though there's like textbook explanations and you gotta have that side where that may not be the case. Like I was just like, well, it's not hereditary because nobody in our family has it. And then
Right.
I talked to a person that was just like, oh no, mine's just a spontaneous mutation. Like it's just I'm the first person that's going to start this hereditary thing.
Yeah, I
And I
think
was
it's like
just
a
like,
spontaneous mutation is 20% of the people that have it, even though it's
yeah,
rare. It's like
yeah.
20%
So
are a spontaneous mutation. But
it,
okay. So you got the lab results
I got the lab results, and the lab
and
results
tell
were
them what happened.
normal. The lab results were normal. Now mind you, my having to get the lab results is an entirely different story.
That's a whole
But I
that's a whole
acquired
show.
the lab result. I acquired them legally, you guys. I had them legally. You can request your kids or your own what do you call them?
Medical
Patient
records.
records, medical records. The hospital that she had been to several times. We've been in and out of the hospital. Most recently, like the 9 times since January. And so I was just like, they took blood. Let me see these blood tests. Right now, again, Google dangerous layman. Google was telling me that her levels had to be a certain way in order for
Right.
her to have this
Diagnosis.
particular diagnosis of the disease, even though there are 3 types. And so I look at the numbers that she has. Her numbers are normal, right? Like
Hmm.
everything they took, it was normal. And so of course, who do I text when medical things happen in my life? Bam, I text her. And
And
I
I don't know why, because
screenshot
you don't
that
believe
thing.
me anyway.
I don't. And I she's an incredible doctor, you guys. Like believe everything she says. But I screenshot her the results and I was just like, well, she doesn't have it. What do I get back? Put your phone down.
Well, I think, I think, and honestly, you're just like, look, these C1 esterase inhibitors are normal, but look at this other lab. And I was just like,
Right,
first of all,
right.
that lab has already been dealt with by a different doctor 2 years ago. She's already on medication for that. But I had to remind you that, for this particular disease, for HAE, 85% of the time, you're going to have this protein in the body that's just not enough. And then the
Right.
other 10 to 15% of the time, you have enough of the protein, but it doesn't function. And I think just trying to explain that to you, you know what? Can I explain it to the creatives out there?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
So it's like renting out an auditorium of 500 people for a production. And what is your ideal? To have 500 bodies in every seat that are engaged and they clap. That means it worked for you, correct?
Yeah. That is how we judge a good production.
Yeah, you're going to judge, the audience size, how involved, how engaged the audience is, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So type 1 is if you walk into the auditorium, and there are 13 people in this auditorium of 500. There's
Okay.
not enough.
Gotcha.
Type 2 is you have 400 people in the audience of 500 seats, but they don't speak English. So they don't get your show and they're not
Okay.
engaged.
They're
Okay?
not engaged. Wow. Okay.
Right. So both of those doesn't work for your show. She either doesn't have enough of the protein or she have enough, but it just doesn't work for her. So I think that was the thing that I was trying to get to you.
Yeah. Which is
And
insane because like I'm just like that makes sense.
yeah,
Like she has a full audience and they're not applauding and they don't understand how the show works.
they don't even understand. They don't even understand what their role is in this production. They're just not working right. They're just not. So that's
That's
kind of what's happening with her little body. And
yeah.
you ready to say, oh, well, she got something else. The thing about it is, though, I think it's more interesting that you were going to accept something that had 0.001% prevalence in the whole world.
Yeah.
That was more rare. Like it was stuff I didn't even heard of. Like, where did you get that? Where you get this stuff from? You
Like
were ready to
literally
accept that than
you
something
can
that
like
was like
Google
in your face.
symptom. This is the problem. You can Google a symptom and it will rabbit hole you down. You keep clicking on this, that, and the other. And it's like, before we used to make jokes, even on the show, we used to make jokes about WebMD and how you could go in with a stuffy
Oh yeah,
nose and come out thinking you have nose cancer. But
right.
with a disease like this, you type in specific symptoms and suddenly you're on the medical show house. Like there's no there's no like
Mhm.
zero. You immediately are at 100 while you're scrolling past the results that are saying, oh, it's HAE. I'm scrolling past that because again, I'm looking for I need the disease that can be cured. Like,
Right.
here's the antibiotic or here's the medication for this. She takes it for a little while, everything levels off, and then we're good to go. Whereas, like, the HAE diagnosis is just like, okay, here's the medication that can help you get through this week, maybe. And
Yeah,
as
or
she
even as you get
grows,
right.
as she grows up, we may find better medications to help her get through this for the next year and a half, maybe. And there have been
Right.
leaps and bounds, as I'm able to do now with a clear mind and acceptance, a little bit more research. What I love, and I have to give a shout out
Mhm.
to my sister because she was very big sistery in this moment. One of the times that I was in the middle of the night in the hospital, Googling, tree horses disease or whatever. Like she's right. It was some rare, like,
It's ridiculous.
there was one that was like psychiatric where it's just like there was such a disassociative something happening in the mind that like the brain was just like, it was almost like a psychosomatic pregnancy. Like, I'm just like, clearly she has this, but with this disease. And you're just like,
Pseudosciences.
pseudosciences. Pseudosciences.
I
I
was
was
so
like,
done
she
with
has
you.
this, but with this disease, and
Uh,
again, you get that text back like, please go to sleep, like But the next day, you emailed me, or no, you called me. It was just like, so I found this group, this foundation,
yeah.
and you got me hooked into like the hereditary angioedema. I'm
Association.
I'm gonna say it wrong, but I'm putting it in post, probably foundation or association or whatever, where
Mhm.
people that live with this every day, whether they're a caregiver or whether they have it, created this foundation where like they'll advocate for you for medication and they give
Mhm.
welcome packets and they sent Ladybug a coloring book welcoming her as a member to the association because she's dealing with this, and they do medical bracelets and they help you fight for school, what do you call it, like paperwork in case you have to get that filled out because with this disease, a lot of times you do miss a lot of school depending on how bad the flare-ups are. Like, it was an incredible thing. And interestingly enough, I joined it and then like ignored all the emails for like a little while because I was still it was
And
I
wouldn't give
think
her the coloring book.
I didn't, not right away, because
Uh,
here's the other thing. I was just like, they're gonna figure out that this isn't what it is. So no, I'm not gonna give her the coloring book. I did give her the coloring book, techies, uh, very
thank you.
recently, and she did the whole thing. She did the
And
whole
they
thing, and
have,
she's very
they have little
excited.
get-togethers for their age groups. People
Yeah,
who, because I think there's only one other person in your city that has it. Like it's super crazy rare.
it's rare. And what's funny is that the other person in the city that has it, that has to get the same treatment that Ladybug gets, is it's a male, And he's a little older. He's like a teenager. But what was funny is that this last hospital trip, one of the very new docs, because we're at the point now where we've been to the hospital ER so much in the main
Oh, so
floor
much.
that we know the shifts, we know, the whole night, we know everybody
I mean, you
there.
go like every 7 to 8 days. No
We do.
exaggeration.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. That's not an exaggeration. We're there about every 7 to 8 days. What was
Yeah.
funny is that we got a new doc this time, and he was just like, "Yeah, so it's funny because after getting some reviews around here in the ER, I hear that there are, several, about a dozen or so kids that suffer from it in the city." And I was just like, "That's the same kids. It's the same kid. It's this kid. It's not a dozen kids. The last dozen things that you've seen admitted into the ER is this kid."
Oh,
And it took him a second to realize that he's been dealing with the exact same kid every
yeah.
time. And what is, the nursing staff has been amazing. The doctors in the ER and on the main floor have been amazing. And every time she goes in, you can tell that somebody went home and read a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
And so now, originally it was a fight to try to get that meds to her, her preventative, not preventative meds, but her emergency meds to her to stop the flare up and the reactions. Now, as soon as she walks in, it's almost like a fast pass. I
You
walk
say
in
one word,
and
they're like,
literally, right, and you walk in, it's just like it's Ladybug is here. It's like going to
yeah.
Cheers. Like everybody's like, hey. I know all the rooms on the floor now. I know the charge nurses, and we hug, and it's just really great. But it did take me a little while to get to that point. Like
It's a
it took a
journey.
long time. It is a journey,
It
and
is a
I think
continuous journey, Danita.
it is. It is. And I'm learning that. So I'm much better.
Yeah.
But you again, you're dealing with a person that is a very number oriented, like A plus B equals C. And if A plus B equals, R, something's wrong. And you did your math wrong, and we're gonna figure out why. Like that's that's where I was. And you cannot treat medicine like that. Here's what's hilarious. You
No.
can't treat the performing arts like that. Like even when you're doing live theater, it's gonna be a different 500 person. Like sometimes you are going to walk out and the 400
Exactly.
people aren't going to clap,
Different personality. The
every
audience
night,
gels differently. The air
every
conditioner
night.
might not work that day.
That inside joke. That's a completely different show. But yeah, and I think what's funny is that I guess because we as creatives sometimes have to deal so much in the unknown, at least for me. I don't know if this is for any of my creative friends out there, but so many times we have to deal in the unknown so much where we're walking into like live theater or live production and you cannot predict how the night's going to go. You hope and pray that it goes the way you want. That's why theater people have these crazy superstitions where you like, we hold hands and pass the energy, and we have to leave the light on in the theater when we leave, and like we do that because that we're
That's wasting
even
electricity.
no, it's not. Don't come for our tradition.
Uh,
Don't come for our traditions. Y'all have whole snakes wrapped around poles. Don't come for us with a little light on. Don't come for our light on in the theater that we have to leave on in order
right.
to make sure that good things happen.
Uh,
We don't say good look, we say break a leg. Like it's little stuff like that because we can't control the night. And so I think for me is like when I come out of a situation where I can't control the night, let these numbers come back like they're supposed to, so then we can assess what to do next.
there is a denial that people have, even when everything is concrete, when the clinical presentation matches, when the numbers match, and they just won't want to accept it. Maybe because they don't think that this diagnosis is convenient for them. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, hyperemesis gravidarum. Like a person who's pregnant with twins, who's showing up their entire um, everything that they've had for a whole week, and they require IV hydration and electrolytes. And even though their doctor sister is just like, hey, I think you have hyperemesis. And they're like, no, because it's not convenient because I have a kid that's in kindergarten. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why people deny. I'm
We
not
just
saying it's
coming for Danita
you.
today in the show, huh? We just coming for
I'm coming
Danita
for
because
you.
that
Because
is
you know
that.
what? You and Google have had this relationship for years. And do you know how many times that I have been awakened by a ding? Do you think I have to have an intrauterine transfusion? No, I don't think you do. I think your iron pills are fine. Like, we have been doing this. We have
Yes.
been doing this. I
No,
do
I
think that for her,
have no idea.
I think for her, you just wanted something that would not be permanent.
That is true. I did
And
not
I
want it
feel you
permanent,
because
and this is very permanent.
I feel you. It's
Yeah,
very
I you
permanent.
didn't because it it does it doesn't. It's one of those things where somebody will say to you, "Oh, it doesn't have to change how you live," and it
No,
does.
it changes.
It changes how we live. It changes what we have to know. It changes what me and hashtag the boyfriend, my husband, um, is responsible for. It changes how we operate, vacation time and things of that nature. It
Yeah.
changes how we get trained and stuff. We when the clinical diagnosis is given, then the next thing is like, this is where we need to go to get trained to do IV infusions at home, and this is where we got to go to make sure that and you're just like,
Wait. Ladybug ain't having that. Oh my goodness.
listen. But here's the thing. So you've heard me refer to, like, I have so many amazing friends that have different skill sets, and I was talking to one of my friends who is actually training to be a nurse, and I was
Hmm.
telling her, I was just like, this is not my bag. Like, it's not my bag. Like, either I can comfort you, or I can turn into doctor mode and like stick you. It, like, I don't. The duality is going to be kind of weird for me, and so just to be able to have that friend to be like, call me when that starts happening. We'll go through it together. So I'm the support system, which is necessary. That joint is
Necessary.
necessary. Is that, and then two, finding doctors, and this is a point. This is kind of like a weird show. Like, I don't even know how we we ended up here.
It's kind of like, but
Yeah,
it's all.
we
I
kind of
mean, we have to talk about it though. It's like
yeah.
90 shows in one, but still.
It is. Finding a doctor that is willing. I think all of the doctors, whether it was her immunologist or her actual, or the ER
Allergy.
docs, or even the floor
Yeah.
docs, that recognized in me that I was just like, no, we're okay. And they're just like, no, she's not. We're going to have to give her another infusion, or no, she can't go home today. I know y'all are tired of being here. It's day 5,
Yeah.
but we got to give her another infusion. And so I appreciate the very careful way it was handled, so that I was not feeling dismissed, but at the same time, they were ensuring that she was getting all of the care that she needed. And
Right.
so that, I applaud. I'm gonna call them out. I applaud Huntsville Hospital Women and Children's ER and pediatric floor, all the charge nurses there, day shift, night shift, weekend shift, the whole 9 yards. Like, they are amazing. But I realize, it's I've accepted it slowly. I've accepted the diagnosis completely, and we
Thank
accepted what
you.
it's going to have to take, and it's slowly, like, now we're in the area. I'm in the area of acceptance where I'm just like, oh, we may need some more help, or oh, we may
Right.
need to trade off, and I don't have to be at the hospital every single time the whole time, even though I've been told that every
No.
single time the whole time. He's really
And
great
like
about that.
it
He's
may
like,
not, it
let
may
me
not be
know.
pretty. It may not be pretty. It may not be the exact way that there may be a
Yeah,
breast pump
he's
in the room when you get there.
which was so weird.
That was so
but
weird.
but but yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, okay, we have to do this. But I'm glad we kind of ended up on this subject in a weird way, because I want
Yeah.
everybody to know about it, and I'm putting all of that down in the comment section and in the description, just so people can see what it is, and then the foundation that's helping us out, and more information about it. And I don't know, it may
Yeah.
help somebody. Somebody may be like, wait, I think I have this. Like, wouldn't that be dope if somebody got, although we cannot condone diagnosing anybody with anything, like, go to your doctor.
We can't, but hey, it may be helpful for somebody.
It
Because it
might be
is rare.
helpful.
Maybe they'll find out it's not really that rare.
Maybe so. Maybe people don't even realize that they have it because they've been dealing with listen, let me tell you something. Because when I tell you we can explain away a symptom in a minute, in a
Look,
hot, ooh, what is it? What is it? What is it? What
stop
is it?
trying to explain away what your reality is.
Oh, Gina.
Accept your reality. Stop trying to explain it away. Stop trying to Google it away. Accept your reality.
Cause
You're welcome.
listen, that's what I was trying to do.
It is.
I was trying to Google it away. I'll admit it. I'll admit it right here in front of everybody.
Yeah. But I understand why, and it's okay.
Yeah. I listen though. Yay for this therapeutic fantasticness that happened on
Yay!
this
I
on
know,
today.
right? Look, get your water.
Listen, I'll get it. Pretend like I have it. That's not water.
It
What is
is.
that?
It's a hard drink of root beer for all them patients don't accept their diagnosis and be texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about could it be this? It's my root beer. Don't judge.
It is actually root beer, and that's hilarious.
It really is root
But
beer.
yeah,
It really is root beer.
this really is root beer. Yeah, no, yeah. Accept the diagnosis. That's what we say. Listen, you're an amazing doctor. You're legit. I know every time
You
I
are
say
an
that.
amazing Dr. Mom, juggling everybody. Credits to you. Not many people could handle what you're handling, and you're doing it well.
Aw,
You are. I'm proud of you.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. All right, y'all.
All right,
It's time for us
girlie.
to go. Shout out to all the Dr. Moms and Dr. Dads and Dr. Parents out there. Y'all are amazing too. And all the amazing immunologists that are working very hard to find out what's going on with the disease.
Exactly.
Y'all are amazing too. It's time for us to go. Bye,
It is
girl.
time. Bye, girl.